Good day, learners. Welcome to Mr. M's oral communication class, where learning English is quick, fun, and easy. If you haven't seen Lesson 3 of Oral Communication or would like to have a refresher, you may access the video here. Now, let's proceed with our lesson.
The session's objectives are the following. First, distinguish the different speech styles. Second, realize the various speech contexts in everyday life. And third, identify appropriate speech styles for different situations. Let's dive into speech styles and context. First, a speech is known as the communication or expression of thoughts in spoken words. There is always a reason behind a speech, which includes the purpose, audience, and situation. These three factors govern how a speech is made and how it is delivered. The speech also considers three aspects: the context, act, and style. This lesson will focus on the context and style of a speech. It is a comprehensive lesson. What's the difference between speech styles and speech context? The speech style refers to the language use or language usage or formality. It answers the question, how is the speech delivered? There are 5 speech styles. These are intimate, casual, consultative, formal, and frozen. While speech context refers to the purpose of the speech, it answers the question, why is the speech delivered? The types of context are interpersonal, intrapersonal, public, and mass communication. The proponent behind the different speech styles is known as Martin Jews, a German professor who studied language use. According to him, there are 5 styles when it comes to the English language. He underscored that speech styles considers the level of formality and status. It considers the proximity of degree of closeness or relationship. And it considers being formal to most formal. In short, the distant a person is from another person, the more likely formal language is used to communicate. The first style and context are frozen and interpersonal. Intrapersonal relates to within oneself. It involves talking to yourself in a healthy way. It highlights deliberation, meditation, and reflection. This allows one to know oneself better, organize ideas and thoughts, and heal oneself. This context relates to internal discourse, seen in self-assessing one's decisions or thoughts. While the style is frozen, it is intended to be used in very formal setting, such as a palace, church ritual, speech or state ceremony. It is usually static, ritualistic, or archaic. This style is never changing. The speech's content is permanent. From the moment it was created to the current time, the speech's content does not change. It is usually used when it comes to sacred events and traditional programs. Deep and outdated words are commonly used when it comes to the frozen style. An example of the frozen and intrapersonal, an example of a situation with the intrapersonal and frozen style is when one is praying. A person usually engages in self-prayer and contemplates about his or her action. A prayer is commonly static. It is a traditional scripture that does not change and needs to be delivered without any alterations. The next speech context is interpersonal. There are two types for this context. Each type is given a respective style. The second style and context are intimate and interpersonal. Interpersonal, meaning between or among others. It involves talking to one or limited number of people. Speech must be suited to the receiver. Clarification and feedback are greater. This context requires the speech to be designed to a specific receiver so that clarification and feedback are greater. This can be possible if the sender and the receiver have the same schema. While the style is intimate, it is used by actors who have known each other for a long time, share experiential knowledge, and does not emphasize on grammar and pronunciation. This style does not only focus on romantic relationships. It also relates to filial relationships or family bonds. The intimate style requires the receiver and the sender to have the same experiential knowledge or schema so that feedback and clarification can be effective. Due to the deeper degree of closeness between the sender and receiver, grammar and pronunciation are not emphasized because of the field of experience that overlaps during communication. An example when it comes to this style and context is a conversation between couples. It uses the interpersonal context since the speech is designed to a single person. Both of the actors have known each other for a long time and share similar experiences or schema. Both understand each other because of their close ties and well-known verbal and non-verbal cues. This type of interpersonal context is known as dyad. It's used between two people. An expression and sharing of feedback and ideas are maximized. The next style is casual, while the context is still interpersonal. Casual is used among friends, uses trendy or slang words, spoken in phrases or elided words, and there are no social barriers to consider. The style and context are commonly seen together between close friends. Trendy or slang words, as well as phrases or incomplete sentences, are still understandable because of the sender's and the receiver's level of familiarity between each other. This is possible because of the lack of social barriers. The different barriers that affect communication, such as psychological, relational, situational, environmental, and cultural, do not significantly cause communication breakdown because of the deep degree of closeness, although not deep compared to the intimate style. The casual style still emphasize shared experiences. The example given earlier is known as a small group interpersonal type. This is used between 3 or more people. Clarification and feedback is lessened due to the number of participants. Having numerous receivers, and senders can cause communication breakdown due to the differences in opinion, ideas, culture, and insights of the actors. The next style is consultative. The context is still interpersonal. Consultative is for people who do not share the same common experiences. It is used in semi-formal communication. Minimize understanding by using clear and careful words, pronunciation, and complete sentences. This style is commonly used between people who do not share the same schema, feelings, or knowledge. The diction and delivery can be formal or casual, or known as semi-formal when it comes to communication. It stands in between and still needs clear and careful words, pronunciation, and complete sentences for the sender and receiver to understand each other. This style is usually seen when it comes to superiors and subordinates. An example of this style and context is communication between a doctor and a patient. Both do not share common experiences and show a difference between class as a professional and as a patient. Certain words, such as jargon and slang, are not practical when it comes to the consultative style.